Each morning, I pig out in my jade cup. It's kind of an addiction. I have to have some chai tea.
Hey, it's Alexis. How you doing, guys? I've been reading a book. It's called Polyvagal Exercises for Safety and Connection. It's written by Deb Dana, and she is one of the leading people in the polyvagal theory, and I really admire her work. She and Stephen Porges have really knocked it out of the ballpark, in my opinion. Anyway, I wanted to share with you one little breakthrough that I had in seeing human beings instead of idiots and monsters and friends. I'm starting to see people as connection or support. Anything outside of that is not beneficial to me. This book helped me see it that way, and I'm sure there's other books out there that would. But for me, this really has kicked some ass for me. Hey, I got my bell. That's my birthday brass bell. I got it in 2019 down in Minneapolis in a World Cafe from one of my kids. I've been reading a book. It's called Polyvagal Exercises for Safety and Connection. It's written by Deb Dana, and she is one of the leading people in the polyvagal theory, and I really admire her work. She and Stephen Porges have really knocked it out of the ballpark, in my opinion. Anyway, I wanted to share with you one little breakthrough that I had in seeing human beings instead of idiots and monsters and friends. I'm starting to see people as connection or support. Anything outside of that is not beneficial to me. This book helped me see it that way, and I'm sure there's other books out there that would. But for me, this really has kicked some ass for me. Hey, I got my bell. That's my birthday brass bell. I got it in 2019 down in Minneapolis in a World Cafe from one of my kids. But anyway, the whole idea of seeing people in two different ways, and yeah, we have monsters and we have bad people, quote unquote bad people, but then it's awesome for me. I'm finding great joy in seeing support. Are you support? Are you connection? I was having a stressful morning getting ready for meeting my doctor. What was it? Support or connection? Was I meeting her for connection? Did I have to worry about what she would think about me? No. She's there to support me. She's not there to judge me. Not to judge my roots. Not to judge my puffy eyes. Not to judge the hair growing out of my mole, or the fact that I was going there for her for a reason. And how do I choose to live this life? Just because I'm having a bad day, the logic of the inner child in me says I'm having a bad day, that means I am bad. But that's childish logic. That's immature logic. I've got my ballot. I'm going to bring this in on voting day and drop it off. No, I don't want to tell you who I voted for. No, I didn't vote for Trump. No, I didn't vote for Biden. If I throw my hat in that pot, and I'll face some backlash about this opinion, but this is my opinion, not yours. So, we're each and every one of us is different. If you call me an idiot, that's because I don't conform to your mindset, and that's really stupid, if you think about it. That if I'm not your mindset, then I'm an idiot. That's sort of like a narcissist's trick. Everybody has to think the way they do. So anyway, I did not vote for those candidates because I do not want to throw my hat into the pot that says I agree with oil and I agree with pharma and I agree with war and I agree with old men sniffing babies and children and holding them by their crotches, or old men shoving their faces into women who don't want them to's breasts. I don't want to vote for either one of those creeps, so I won't. I have that right. And I took my right to vote, so fuck off if you don't like it. It wasn't for you anyway. Date yourself. Go on, date yourself. Go on out and go dancing by yourself and ignore what everybody says. Just be yourself and enjoy yourself. Date yourself. Date yourself. Don't date nobody else until you've dated yourself. So my therapist sent me, using natural consequences. And logical consequences. And it shocked me because before, she kept on telling me to go for consequences, and I'm like, yeah, consequences happen when consequences happen. And it says here, do natural and logical consequences work? Do they? The consequence is closely tied to the behavior. It gives a child a chance to learn what happens when he doesn't behave in the way you expect him to behave. It separates the deed from the doer. That's me, also, the outside police force, and it doesn't shame or punish the child. Then it is also concerned with the present and future behavior and helps children learn to be responsible for their own actions. It's done in a calm environment, and it lets children make a choice. So, for example, one of their examples is, Mom, the TV's blaring. Susie, I realize you and Katie are enjoying your program, but Dad and I are trying to talk. Could you turn that down or go outside? You decide what you'd like to do. There's your options. She's got an option, she can go. Or you knew the way I've been doing it, the way my mom taught me to do it, and the way that I've watched my peers teach me, and TV shows. Susie, turn down that TV this minute. I'm trying to talk to your dad. And I know which one I'd respond better to. Another one, John, this is the dad. I'm going to mow the lawn this morning, but I won't be able to mow until all your toys are picked up. Please pick them up. If you don't, I'll put them in a bag and I'll put them in the garbage. Or Dad could say very angrily, this is me again, taking things personally, John, I've told you a dozen times to pick up your toys outside. I'm going to mow over them and you can just forget about going to the show this afternoon too. Oh, okay. It's at the University of Minnesota Extension. It's called Using Natural and Logical Consequences. I have no idea who wrote it. I just know that this shit is gold, and we should be using this on our families, not anything else. Dad, remember I borrowed your pen without asking? Yeah, Dad says, I do. Well, I lost it. I looked everywhere for it. And Dad says, well, son, how are you going to replace the pen? So for me, my situation usually is, where's my pen? Oh, I saw so-and-so with it. But wait a minute, I borrowed it to you. Yeah, but I let her use it. Well, where is it? I don't know. And then I'm super furious and stomping around the house looking for my damn pen. Yeah, that's how it goes. So, we've got a little bit of logic here. A little bit of logic, a little bit of recognizing consequences. And not only that, but it's helping me to be a better parent. Oftentimes I'm in fight or flight because when you're in fight or flight, these are the feelings that you feel. Well, I'll just read them. You like my jammies? It's got a hood too, I think. Anyway, when you are in fight or flight, parents, this is how you'll feel. Pressed for time, ignored, confused, pushed to make a decision or take a side. Oh my God, right? You're around a lot of conflict and you feel responsible, too responsible for far too many things. Hello to parenting. That's all fight or flight, motherfuckers. So, when you're in fight or flight, this is your sympathetic nervous system. This is totally normal. I wish I had this. I'll just show it to you. All right, this doesn't look so great. I've written all over it, but we've got the brain stem, and then the vagus nerve taking its little ass on down to your asshole. Okay? And you've got your ventral vagal. You're feeling good. Ain't no problems. You're up in your brain, you're up in your space, and things are feeling positive. You can learn, you can relax, you can calm down, you can feel safe. This is my jam, by the way, if you can't tell. So your ventral vagal system comes alive, which is alive all the time, when you think about people that are important to you, when you go out into nature, when you give yourself permission to make choices, when you listen to music, you enjoy time with your pets, standing under the stars, doing artwork, whatever feels good to you. Whatever feels good to you, that's when you're in your ventral vagal system. That's when it's working properly. That is the safe and social mode. That is what we have evolved into. Because if you think about humanity, we've been in survival for a long ass time. And we are now, within the past 2,000, somewhere around there, maybe 3, been able to have people who could just be in safe and social and not sympathetic or dorsal. Sympathetic is when you're in fight or flight. Dorsal is when you're in shutdown. So when you're in dorsal shutdown, sorry, I'll get that right up there. When you're in the dorsal phase, in the shutdown phase, down in your lower, in your belly, yeah, you know, your gut's shut off. Too busy, too busy, too busy. You have no more options. Shutdown's occurring. You feel trapped. You feel unimportant. Hello, voting. Didn't we just talk about that? You're criticized. Again, hello, voting. You feel like you don't matter and you feel like you don't belong. This is the shutdown. This is actually what depression is. Parents, we're in the safe and social mode. We can work with our kids. We can talk to them. We can be kind to them. We can answer them respectfully and honestly and with curiosity. When you're in your fight or flight mode, when you feel pressed for time, are you late for work? Late for school? Are you ignored or confused? Are you being pushed to make a decision or choose a side? Hello, voting. Are you around a lot of conflict? Hello, 2020? Do you feel responsible, too responsible for too many people and too many things? Yes. Okay. You're in fight or flight mode. And so you're going to respond like you're defending yourself. You're going to react immediately, unless, of course, you can bring yourself back up into safe and social, where you can talk to your family the way this logical consequence system is set up. No judgments, just respect and calm. So, if you find yourself in fight or flight and you find yourself like totally critical, bitching, being somebody that you'd rather not be, recognize that you're in fight or flight. Take a deep breath. If you can realize there's a ladder there. Down at the bottom, safe and social, is way up top. Down at the bottom is your shutdown, down in your guts, and that's where you're residing, and that's where you're feeling a lot of your feelings, is down in your guts, your gut feeling. You're feeling it. some in the throat. Bleh, you gotta speak up for yourself, but you're not, you know? Get out of shutdown by coming up into fight or flight and experiencing fight or flight, feeling all those feelings, not acting out on them, thinking of the places that you love, the people that you care about, things that make you feel safe and social. Going to a place that makes you safe and feel social. Cuddling up in blankets, wearing your favorite PJs, being with your favorite people or not. Think about the things that bring you comfort and joy and breathe it through and come back. It's not easy, but we've evolved. Our ancestors, they were in shutdown. They hid in caves, didn't they? They hid in places, they hid from predators. As they got older and stronger and braver, they came out from shelter and they started to fight for their lives and hide and fend for themselves. Run out and, not be dependent on anybody. Go out and fight. Get what you need. Now we're in a space where we don't have to be that way. And we can be in safe and social for long periods of time. And it is so freeing. If you've ever seen any studies on brainwaves and brain scans of Buddhist monks, I think, what's his name? Chopra? I think he was, I don't know who it was put under a brain scan, and his brain was like that of a 30-year-old when he was in his late 50s. Being in the safe and social is really good for our brains. Notice how time flies when you're in that space, when you're having fun. Notice how much you learn. Notice how much your children can learn when they're in a space of comfort, safety, and they will grow. You put them in fight or flight. In the school system right now, there's a fight or flight feel. Everywhere you're out there is a fight or flight feel. Everyone is afraid. There's shutdown and fight or flight. You got people that are fighting and saying there is no disease and everyone's making it up. And then you've got people who are so terrified they can't even leave their homes. I'm not that bad, but getting there. And numbers are rising, and I'm seeing more and more fools out there deciding to say, it ain't even real, it hasn't even come here yet. Well, it's on its way. Unfortunately, there are people who have caught it twice. Unfortunately, there is a woman, a Native American woman, who is completely healthy like I am. She caught it once and kicked its ass, and the second time she got it, she couldn't beat it. So, we have got to be serious here. We're not in a joke, and this election and everything about it is a joke, and we need to take things seriously. We need to all come up into safe and social and stop being in this fight or flight mode. Nothing is getting done. No one's listening to each other. It doesn't work. When you're in fight or flight, here's your brainstem and here's your logic. Boop! They're not connecting. Go to fight or flight, calm down, get the lobes, the frontal lobes, to come back into connection with the brainstem, which is in connection with the vagal nerve. Take those deep breaths. Feel those feelings through. Get curious, ask questions. Come from a place where you want to fix what's hurting. Come from a place where you want to comfort what's sad. Come from a place where you have a little time, even though it doesn't feel like you do. Because you know what? Either you will take time now for your body, or your body will take that time from you. I hope you've had a good time with me. I want to share more artwork. Keep checking out my Instagram page. It's Alexis Scarbrough, B-R-O. If you'd like to follow me on Facebook, it's Your Dali Mama. Dali Mama, D-A-L-A-I Mama. And you can go to my website if you'd like to. It's the hyphen Dolly Mama hyphen, oh shit, I messed it up. The hyphen, I didn't make this. This pisses me off. The hyphen Dolly hyphen mama.com. This is the craziest thing in the world. But that's where I'm at, and that's where I update. That's where I put some photos. That's where my podcast is updated. If you're interested in my podcast, it is The Dolly Mama. And there's another one that I have too, if you might be interested in bashing religion. It's called I Believe What? With a D. I believed what? Because I used to believe that stuff. If you want to support me on Patreon, I would be so happy, because that would help me to keep on doing what I'm doing, which is focusing deeply on being a parent and fixing this heartbreaking childhood that I had, and loving and mothering me while loving and mothering my children, and finding out what it's like to be a kid without a mom screaming no all the time, and finding out what it's like to be a mom who's not screaming no all the time. Well, I used to scream no a lot, and then I realized that it was a lot of breath lost and nothing was coming of it. So I hope you have a wonderful November 1st, All Souls Day, and enjoy being safe and social.